All right, so we are picking up with Aeneas' speech on line 347, which is where we about left off in class on Wednesday. So let's just refresh our memories really briefly from line 345. This is Aeneas talking to Dido saying, but now Grinion, Apollo, and the Lycian fates have ordered me to reach Great Italy. Italy, Great Italy. Watch that anaphora there. And picking up at line 347, we have hic amor, and we're taking this est twice, so you can take it kind of like ellipsis, right? This is the love. This is the fatherland. And if you think about what this hic and this hike is referring to, it's really referring back to Italiam, Magnam Italiam, right? This great Italy now, right? This is our love. This is our fatherland. Or it will be rather soon once he founds it. Si te Carthaginus, if we start with this conditional with if the Arches Carthaginus, the citadels of Carthage, and the aspectus, the site, Libicae orbis, of the Libyan city. So if the citadels of Carthage and the site of the Libyan city, detinet te, hold you back. Detinet literally means to hold back, and we're taking te phoeniciam as our direct object. So if the citadels of Carthage and the site of the Libyan city hold you, Phoeniciam, a Phoenician. Remember, Dido is not actually from Libya. She's not from Carthage. So he's saying, look, you're not from Carthage. But if the Carthaginian arches in the site of this Libyan city can hold you, a Phoenician, can hold you back. Finally, quae invidia, what greed is. What greed is there? There is what greed. And then we get into this clause, starting with teucros. Finally, there is what greed, or what greed is there for the Teucrians. And if you think about who the Teucrians are, those are the Trojans. For the Trojans to found, to land on, consider, to set up, to establish, any of those would be fine. So then what greed is there for the Trojans to set up the Ausonian lands, or to reach the Ausonian lands? The Teucrians, let's get my pen working. As mentioned, the Teucrians are the Trojans, and the Ausonian lands, ooh, that's really large. The Ausonian lands are the Italian lands. Ausonian is another name for southern Italy. So these are the Trojans. Ausonia is Italy. So he's basically saying, look, you're not from Carthage, but if you love Carthage so much that it can hold you here, then why are you keeping us from founding our fated land in Italy? Right? What envy is there? What greed is there for the Trojans to set up the Ausonian lands? And fas est, you have to supply the est in order to make this next sentence make sense. And it is right that, we're starting another clause, it is right that we, nos, quaerere, seek the exterra regna, the foreign kingdom. So if you think about what type of clauses we have here, we've got invidia est and fas est, both which actually act as head verbs, right? What sort of greed is there in your brain? It's kind of like a head verb. And it is right by nature, also a head verb. To set up and to seek. We have infinitives there, not subjunctives. So what type of clause is it? Well, it's an indirect statement, both of them. All right. Let's keep going. So we want to take me patris anchisae down with the main part of our sentence, which is all the way down with admonet and terret. But in the meantime, let's take quotiens and quotiens before we get there. So quotiens, as often as nox operit terras, as often as night covers the lands, umentibus umbris, with dewy shadows, and if you want to supply an and there, that's fine. And quotiens again, as often as the fiery stars, astra ignea, the fiery stars rise. So whenever you take quotiens, it's making a comparison, right? So as often as this happens, That's how often that happens. So as often as night covers the lands with dewy shadows, and as often as the fiery stars rise, that is how often the turbida imago, the disturbed image or the upset ghost, quite literally, of my father Anchises, admonet me, warns me in my sleep. That's admonet me insomnis, warns me in my sleep and terrifies me. You want to take that me twice. All right, the puer Ascanius, the boy Ascanius, and the injuria capitis cari, the injustices or the injuries of his dear head. Moent. You have to supply a verb. Notice we don't have a verb on this line, so moent makes sense. It is up to debate though, so you can add pretty much whatever you want. The boy Ascanius and the injuries of his dear head move me, or hold me here, or affect me, something like that. So if you think about why Ascanius would affect Aeneas or would move Aeneas emotionally, or even physically, right? It's moving him from Carthage because this is Ascanius's legacy. Italy will be Ascanius's legacy, right? Ascanius quem, whom fraudo I deceive or I keep from, or I deceive the regno Hesperii. I keep the kingdom of Hesperia. Hesperia is also Italy. So from whom I keep the kingdom of Hesperia and the fatalibus arvis, and from the fated fields. So kind of going off of regno Hesperia is again. Nunc etiam. Now even the interpres divum, the interpreter of the gods, the messenger of the gods. Who is the messenger of the gods? That would be Mercury. Now even the messenger or the interpreter of the gods, having been sent, PPP, by Jove himself. And then we get a little aside. We get testor utrimque caput. Testor is a weird little verb meaning I swear. I swear on, really. I swear on each head. So anyone who's nearby, right? I would swear on everyone's lives that Mercury did this, right? Now even the interpreter of the gods, having been sent by Jove himself, I swear on each head. He detulit, he has brought down mandata, orders, per auras celeres, through the swift breezes. So he's brought down orders through the swift breezes. Weedy. I myself, ipse vidi, I myself have seen the god in the manifesto lumine, in the clear light. I myself have seen the god in the clear light in Trantum, entering the walls, muros, and I have drunk, hausi, means to drink up or to consume. I have drunk up his voice, his audibus, with these ears. So it's like, I swear on everyone. Mercury, the interpreter of the gods, having been sent by Jupiter, came down here and gave me orders. I saw him entering the walls. I heard his voice. Then we get to de sine. De sine, stop. It's an imperative. So it's a very strong form of this verb. This is Aeneas finally talking directly to Dido. Cease. Cease incendere, to inflame both me and you. Both me and yourself. Stop inflaming, or cease to inflame, both me and you, tuis quaerelis, with your complaints. Sequor. I non sequor. I do not seek, or I do not follow Italy by my own will. Sponte. By my will. So he says, hey, Mercury came down, having been sent by Jupiter, and told me to go do these things. I saw him, I heard him. Stop trying to make me upset, and stop making yourself upset by saying these terrible things. I am not going to Italy by my own will. I do not follow Italy by my will. And that's where Aeneas' speech ends. So continuing off of what we were talking about in class on Wednesday, you really have to think about these two different ways that Aeneas and Dido are speaking. They're going about talking about Aeneas's leaving in very different ways. Dido is very emotional, for good reason, and she comes across much more frenetic and much more panicky than Aeneas does. Right? Aeneas is pretty straightforward in his speaking, but he also does not try to deceive Dido in any way. He never says, "Oh, maybe I'll stay, I'll consider it," and then decide to leave. No, he says, "Look, I have no choice in this. I am not going to Italy because I want to. The gods told me to. Mercury came down from the sky and told me to go. And I have to think about my son, who this is his legacy." And so he's very straightforward with her. He's very honest with her. And he doesn't really treat her with kid gloves. So even though it's very obvious that she is undone by him leaving, and she's extremely emotional, he doesn't I don't know. It's rather nice actually that he treats her with honesty. He doesn't try to deceive her, and he tells her the whole truth. And now he leaves. So please be sure to skim the English from this line 362 through 658. It's a really long section that we're skipping, and you have to know what happens in between because when we pick up at 659, we're really into Dido's death sequence. So be sure to read that interim sequence in English. Just scan it, take notes of any plot points on that little section of text in your workbooks so you know what's going on when we pick up from 659. All right. Please email me if you have any questions on this section, and we will briefly talk about questions on Monday, though we'll have to keep moving as well. So email me with any questions, and have a great weekend. Talk to you later.